She goes more towards the newspaper, grabs the newspapers quickly, hastily, and then starts running back to her front door. And as she's going down the sidewalk, I'm just seeing her like move pretty fast. She makes a turn, and the whole time that she's running, she's looking at me. She's looking at me, and she just rushes in. Good morning, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo, and as a reminder, you can listen to the replays on these along with show notes and breakdowns of each show on badassagents.com. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that. I think these Mindset Masters are good, right? Just to put our mind in the right place, to put our actions in the right place so we can kill the weak. But it's also about learning about who we are. It's about learning about our mannerisms, our behaviors, our dysfunctions, and also our triggers, things that slow us down, right? This resistance that seems to be an ongoing battle, a never-ending battle. And it is our job to continually to learn more about ourselves, to determine why is it that certain things trigger us. And today's conversation is going to do with character, judgment and character. Judgment and character. So I have two Labradoodles, and I've been doing a lot with them. I've been training them. It's been fun. It's been frustrating, but it is awesome to have them develop the way they have. They listen to me. I'm taking them around the block in my neighborhood, and they walk right next to me without a leash. So like I'm training them to be very aware of my commands. So I've been doing this now for the last, couple of weeks. The weather here in Arizona and Phoenix, it's like feeling really good in the morning, right? 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. It feels really, really good in the 70 degrees. So I've been taking advantage of this. And I go out, and it's probably like a mile and a half by the time I do it about 2 or 3 times. But it is something that I do for my dogs, and it's something that just gets my mind in the right place, right? When you're listening to something positive, and you're also just enjoying the scenery, enjoying life in general, it's going to put you in the right place. Well, something very interesting happened to me on Saturday. So I'm going through my normal routine, right? So I take my dogs and I'm walking them. And again, there are no leashes, but they're right next to me. And we're walking, and we turn the corner. And there's this lady that walks out of her front door. She walks down the front door and down her side, the sidewalk to get to the main sidewalk. Right, so she's walking down, and she's going to make a turn on the sidewalk and is now looking at my direction. And I'm about a block and a half away. All right, let's just make it a block. 1 block away from where she's at. And she looks my way, and she just stops and freezes and looks at me. I'm like, that's odd. I wonder if she's looking at my dogs, because I get a lot of compliments of my dogs, right, in the neighborhood. I think everyone knows or seen me around the neighborhood. But I don't think I've ever met this lady in particular. And she stops dead in her tracks. And I'm like, she probably likes my dogs. Well, anyway, she rushes towards, so her pace is now more fast to try to get her newspaper at her driveway. So she has to kind of go towards me a little bit more. And again, I'm nowhere near her. She goes more towards the newspaper, grabs the newspapers quickly, hastily, and then starts running back to her front door. And as she's going down the sidewalk, I'm just seeing her like move pretty fast. She makes a turn, and the whole time that she's running, she's looking at me. And she just rushes in. She has this reaction that I think will trigger anyone, right? To trigger anyone, just like if somebody doesn't see us or consider us as part of a conversation, or maybe looks at us a certain way. We always bring that up to ourselves. We always feel like we're that person, and it's all our insecurities coming through, right? All the insecurities of like, do I look a certain way? Am I not professional enough? Did I say something wrong? Did I do this, that, or the other? But here's what I realized, that this is not the first time that this kind of a situation has happened, and I think we've all experienced it. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to do with race or gender. It can do along a number of things. And it could be just our insecurities that we put on the forefront, that we think that we're being judged because of that particular trait. And understand that, again, we all judge. We all get judged. We understand that there's predispositions there. And for me to get upset like at this woman that reacted to me a certain way, I can't, because I don't know what her experience is like. Maybe it has to do something with her and how she predispositioned, or how her life was predispositioned. And it can be by past experiences, the people of influence. It can be environments. It could be TV and social media. It could be a number of things. That have her now thinking that she needs to react a certain way as I'm walking down towards her. And again, I don't know if it was because of me or maybe she's terrified of dogs. But here's the thing. That would have kind of thrown me off in a number of ways. Before, I would now second guess myself walking my neighborhood, or maybe I need to trim up my beard, or maybe I need to wear brighter colors and not black, right? Maybe I just need to walk around with a big cheesy smile. And these are all the things that we start thinking that we need to change. And it doesn't matter what you change. They will have their predisposition until they experience you a little bit more intimately, right? So this is just one experience. And there was another one when I first moved into my neighborhood. It's a very tightly knit neighborhood. There's only like 35 homes in the entire neighborhood. It's a gated community. And when I first moved in, I wanted to make some big changes to my house. I wanted to put in some nice iron doors, right, and an iron gate. And I submitted to the HOA my renditions for approval. I've seen them around the neighborhood. I thought it wasn't going to be a problem. But the way I was treated during that process, right, they invited me to their personal home. And it was someone that's lived there from day one. And my neighbor, which I didn't know was my next door neighbor, right, also built his house there from day one. And this was back in like 2004. And some other lady that lived across the street from this committee. And I walked in and I felt like this small. I felt like I was just being judged, and I felt like I was being talked to in a condescending way. And it was very I didn't like that experience whatsoever. And I remember one thing that they said that really just irked me. They said, we just want our neighborhood to stay the same, because I was trying to upgrade this, that, or the other. And I'm in the real estate business. I know what's going to add more value to the neighborhood. And they said, we just want our neighborhood to stay the same. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it's just around the doors. Maybe it was against me. I don't know. But I felt very small coming out of that. And it pissed me off that I put myself in that position, right? And a part of me should have maybe been more aggressive, or maybe returned whatever energy they were giving towards me back to them. But I just decided to be like, okay, I'm just done with this. I'm done with this. So Carla and I get up and we go home, and we're like these people have no idea. And it made me consider like if I made the right move, even moving into this neighborhood. Fast forward. We ended up getting our gates. We ended up doing it. And they threatened that they were going to, send me violations, but I went with it either way. And now it's not a big deal whatsoever. But what's funny about this whole situation is that the very neighbor that was talking to me a certain way, very condescending, little did he know about my character. And that's what I want to get down to in this conversation. It's always going to be about your character. I could have conformed to them, or I could have continued to be powerfully within my own skin, with who I am and what I've experienced. I decided to stand strong. And I did not tailor to what their expectations were going to be. Well, it turns out that this very neighbor right next door, the HOA president right next door, guess who coached his granddaughter's volleyball team? Had no idea. Guess whose parents just absolutely adore me and my family? Right? So it was one of those things where he had no idea, where he was coming in there angry about certain situations. And I know it wasn't, I didn't talk to him necessarily. It was more the head lady of the aesthetics committee or whatever it may be. She was just very rude and condescending. I think she planted seeds into these other individuals, because that was my first talk with my neighbor. So Now he changed his tune. He does everything and anything and everything to try to stay connected with me. He's always waving. He's always saying hi, AZ. He says he appreciates, me and what we do. And here's the reality of it: your character will always shine through. Your character will always shine through, and you need to understand that their predispositions should not change who you are. In fact, if they belong in your life, or they belong to have more time in your life, they will see the true nature of who you are. But if you're constantly trying to tailor and change just because certain people don't approve of you, you're going to be a lost soul. You're going to be walking through life with no real agenda, with no real direction, because you're trying to be this chameleon going back and forth to the judgments of others. I decided to stand strong. And what I do is so strong that our daughters go to the same Christian school, or his granddaughter and my daughters go to the same Christian school. Little did he realize that. Little did he realize how committed I am to my family and to the extracurricular activities that they're involved in. Little did he know. And I know it had nothing to do with the Gates. It was the judgment of others, but he was influenced by that. So back to this lady that was terrified of seeing me, as I'm coming down with both of my dogs. It's just the influences in her life, or the past experiences in her life, made her act a certain way. But I cannot react. I cannot, give that same type of energy back or disregard them. In fact, I try to understand them. I try to understand why they even go through those, have those predispositions. But I think we're all that way. This past Friday, I went out and I looked at another building. And I'm not seeing, can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure that, go ahead and check in if you're with me. But on Friday, I went out to check out a big building. It was like a 12,000 square foot building. And I was there with some city officials. And I'm guilty of my predispositions too. I'm guilty of also, all right, I'm guilty of also judging others. Thank you for checking in, guys. I'm also guilty of all this. We all are. So we can't get upset when we get that type of reaction. I met with two city officials. There was one that was dressed to the nines. This guy had a killer suit. He had the slick back hair. He was talking a big game. And I figured, hey, this is the main guy. This is the guy I need to talk to. And the other guy was just came in a polo shirt. Very nice, very down to earth, no posturing, answering all my questions. And I disregarded him because I have my own judgments. The same way that I thought what success looked like is the way I was trying to portray for many years. And I didn't realize that I still have this embedded in my mind, that in order to be successful, you got to look a certain way, which is farther from the truth. But I caught myself there because that was my predisposition. Certain people dress a certain way because they're successful. Well, as soon as I saw this guy, I figured this is the guy I need to talk to. Well, it turns out the other guy is the main guy. The other guy calls all the shots. Now, whose fault is that? That's mine, right? Because I automatically had a predisposition and I automatically had a judgment based on what I saw. And we all do it. The problem is when it happens to us, we get so offended. It's against us. It's because I have a beard. It's because I'm a man. Because I'm this skin color or I'm this gender. And we put all this negative energy on how they are wrong. When in fact, you're just expressing all your insecurities. He came in confident. The main guy was confident. The other guy was just like, he was showing a big game, but the other guy knew what he was talking about. But I couldn't see that. And if I would have taken just one step back and tried to get to know a little bit more of their character, I would have known exactly who was who. But I didn't. See, some of us are constantly in this place where if we get rejected, we think it's because of one of our insecurities. I'm too young. I didn't get this listing agreement because I'm too young. I'm not tech savvy enough. I'm not, the right size, the right gender, whatever it may be. We come to these conclusions and blame ourselves when in reality, we have to understand that not everyone is meant to be not everyone's meant to work with us or be in our lives. But if they are, your character will always shine through. They will see the true nature of who you are. But if they don't have anything to compare it to, if you're not out there on social media on a consistent basis, showing passionately how much you love what you do, they can only go based on what they see. And were you as confident? Maybe it has nothing to do with who you think they judged you on. Maybe it was just lack of confidence because you haven't embraced the true you. You haven't embraced all aspects of yourself. And maybe they can sense that you just weren't too confident, that you lacked assertiveness. Has nothing to do with your age or your gender or your color. They invited you to your home for a reason. So as opposed to just making the easy excuse, oh, well, it's because of this. Why don't you start looking at what it really takes to build a strong and profitable business? And that's always set on the foundation of great character. I could have jumped into maybe my tattoos, maybe my beards, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe this is just the way she sees life. That has nothing to do with me. One last example. A lot of people ask, what is our relationship with Erica Jade, right? She's one of our realtors in Las Vegas. She has a lot of corporate clients here in Arizona, and we've been partners here for about 10 years. And, the first time I met Erica, it wasn't necessarily under the right conditions. Her family is involved with the NRBA, which is the National Realtor Broker Association. They're a big group, big association, and they have these private meetings. And I remember one year I was in Denver visiting clients. This was during all the REO property days, right? With all the foreclosures and everything going on. So I would go out at least once a week to different clients to visit them, to see what else I can do, to see what else I can sell for them. I was building relationships, building rapport, investing into my clients that invested in me. And they were having a function out in Denver, and it was a private event. And I called one of my clients and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm in town. Let's get together. I'd like to see you." And she said, "Yeah, that's fine, AZ. Why don't you come over here to the hotel, the same exact hotel where they were holding this event?" And I said, "Sure, awesome, I'll go." Little did I realize they rented out the entire hotel. All right, they had worked a deal with management that, hey, listen, only our association members will attend this event. And you will support us if we find anyone who is not part of this association. Well, guess who wasn't part of the association? So I'm sitting there with my client. And I'm having a conversation. And here comes 3 big dudes. They didn't intimidate me by any means, but I thought it was kind of overkill. And then I see little Erica coming by, and she's like, "Hey, this is a private event." She kicked me out. She kicked me out of this event. And the way I felt afterwards, right? I mean, embarrassed. I was a little upset, a little nervous, a little anxious. But they walked me out the door. My client was like, "I can't believe this is actually happening." But here's the thing. I can't be mad at that situation. See, Erica didn't know what kind of man I was. She only based on her past experiences of these shyster realtors, of these realtors that are trying to undermine what this organization was doing. She didn't know me from the next person. So I can't expect to be treated differently if she has no idea of who I am. She did what she had to do. And I can't judge her on that and say, hey, Erica was a bad person. I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she tried to embarrass me. No. As a matter of fact, it helped me tremendously. And it turns out that that wasn't the only situation or the only pathway we were supposed to cross. It was supposed to go beyond that. But I needed to respect her as a business owner. I needed to respect that this was her function. Well, it turns out that a few months later, we get to talking, and she is moving to Vegas, and she's going to need some assistance here in the Phoenix market. Out of all the agents, out of all these individuals that she could have chosen to team up with, she chose the very person she kicked out because she got to know my character. She got to know what I was all about. I wasn't about the quick dollar. I was all about integrity. And she's been in situations where her own business partners have turned on her. So she has to have that front based on her past experiences. We get to meet a few months later, her, Carla, and myself. We sat down. She can trust us. She knows that we're not out there trying to pull her clients. We were going to help her grow her business while helping grow our business. It was going to be mutually beneficial. But if I would have just based myself on that situation alone and made that assumption that, hey, Erica's a certain way, she's a mean person, none of this could have came into fruition. I love who she is. She loves who we are. She still remains friends with us, and we're still business partners to this day, 10 years later, after being kicked out of her event. Because my character shined through. I didn't tailor to her or to anyone else. They knew what I was all about because I do my job as a marketer, marketing who I am, right? And living up to those expectations, not just a lot of hot air. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And you guys know that. Full integrity. So understand that it's not meant for you to change whenever you feel this type of judgment on you. It's meant to double down on yourself. And it's meant to make you embrace who you are. Because if they still belong in your life, they will come back around. Just like the HOA president, just like Erica. And who knows? We might become best friends, this lady that just ran into her house. I don't know. But guess what I did the next day at the same exact time? I took my dogs out for a walk. Didn't stop me. I wore even darker colors. Because I know my character will always shine through. And if she can't see that, she doesn't belong in my life. And if your clients can't see that, they don't belong in your life. It doesn't mean tailor. It doesn't mean like you're going to do a song and dance. It means you're going to stand powerfully as who you are. So how to overcome these, I'm going to give you three quick things to think about whenever you feel this judgment coming upon you. And step number one is everyone judges. But, it's one of those things that we all do it. And oftentimes they do speak to our own insecurities. But understand, they don't know anything about you yet. It's not their fault. So don't take it so personally. Step number two, it's not against you. It has nothing to do with you. They already have a set of experiences. They've already been, at the ear of others in their circle. It's because of their environments or what they see on TV or social media. It has nothing to do with you. If you feel like you must dress to the nines, do it because you like the way you feel, not because you're trying to impress others. Like I was doing it. That's the only reason I wore my suits. I didn't feel more powerful. I was just like, I hope I get to get compliments. I hope they take me seriously. I hope I can get this client if I dress a certain way and talk a certain way. Hey, listen, if you want to dress to the nines every day, cool, as long as it's for you. because it complements how you feel. But for me, it was making me. I felt weak without that. I wouldn't even wear a t-shirt. I barely started wearing t-shirts 2-3 years ago because I always had to wear these collar shirts or these long sleeve shirts. You would never catch me in a t-shirt. I'm going to a conference next month. I'm going to go the way I'm dressed right now. And I'm going to kill it. Because people will know my character, my energy. People will be drawn to me because that's what I see. Because I'm a good person. You have to remind yourself of that. Don't be a chameleon. Be you. Step number 3. Don't necessarily think that it's something physical about you or it's something about the way you present yourself. Maybe it just has to do with your confidence. Confidence comes from accepting who you are. So stand strong in your own skin. Don't change your behaviors with others or you'll get lost. Be confident in who you are. Be confident in your experiences, and you will always get the right people in your life. Think about the partnerships we have here. Because I was me strong, I drew all you guys here. But if I was this fake chameleon, none of you guys would be here. You guys would see right through me. Well, that's how your clients see you. Just be you authentically. Remind them that you're going to do everything possible to deliver for them. Not a song and dance. Assurance. Assertiveness. Confidence. Certainty that you will deliver the job for them. And if they can't see that because you're a woman or a man, if you're black, you're brown, white, blonde, brunette, then guess what? It wasn't meant to be. It doesn't mean go out and posture and become someone you're not. Because your character will always come full circle. And you'll develop relationships. And you'll develop opportunities that you didn't see coming. But if you stand in that place, pitying the situation about how it should have been yours, but this person judged you based on this, that, or the other, then you're shutting yourself off from opportunities. I could have been in that same place after feeling this small, after being kicked out. Erica, if you're watching this, I love you. But I looked beyond that. Had nothing to do with me. Nothing. And my character showed through so strongly that it is a business relationship that has paid us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because my character shined through. So guys, thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. I have a couple comments here. What are you guys hearing in this conversation? I know it was a twofold conversation just because we got cut off, some technology problems, but I want to thank you for coming back on. I really appreciate you. And you know I'm committed to this. Like, if we can do anything just to make us more powerful, when you feel more powerful, you do bigger things. But it's understanding our own behaviors. Jason, I love this. I am who I am, and I am constantly trying to improve on that by being consistent in progression. I realize that if your heart and mind are in the right place, that eventually people will see that, and they will learn to appreciate you and see the real you. Don't let someone take away who you are, which will take away your ability to rise up. Because when they judge or hate on you, that's because of their own internal issues and insecurities, their own past experiences. Nothing to do with you. Jason's job was just to stand strong. Guess what? His character shined through so much that it aligned with what we're doing here. And the opportunities are endless. And he's going to continue to do that as he builds more relationships. But if he was trying to be a chameleon, trying to cater, song and dance, dude, sorry, man. There's like 1,000 other agents or mortgage brokers just like you. No, he was him authentically. And you always get the right people in your life when you operate from that place with full integrity, always. But if you're just a lie and everything you say and do is just a lie, guess what you will get? What kind of people will show up in your life? Liars. Liars. You and I came together based off yours and my character. Yours shine through and drew me in. That's it, guys. So own you powerfully. I want to thank you for being patient with us in today's Mindset Mastery. And like always, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.